Is it correct to say that all things have two characters, the phenomenal and the ultimate, but the two realities have one character? Yes. So they're the same character, but they're conceptually distinct. Would Genren Rinpoche please review how he presented the Sandhya Mochana Sutra's explication of single character and with being conceptually distinct, but with respect to a single character, in terms of the pairs of four faults? If something is not the same character, and the four faults of the two realities are not the same character, and the four faults of the two realities not being conceptually distinct. Any generally kasa shubananshinji gongdagi ngo chikla to pataregi ngo chikla to pataregi nuche shi yorwa gongdagi nuche shi sunanso shi most ngo chik mena tani nuche shi yorwa any to patare mena tani nuche shi yorwa
도바 찍만 대담에는 도바 찍으래 도바 찍는 이제 시시와리
도바 찍는 이제 시
도바 대담에는 도바 찍인 거로 와 도바 찍인 벌은 이제 시
노스 디
뭐 대담인 벌은 이제 시디
양캬승나로서 디 양캬승나로 송소
어레다 내가 거리 뭐 대담인 벌은 이제 시 컨데스나 담보대 풍부 때문에도 또 어디 아니 풍부 때문에 집에 된지는 누구 말해봐야지 풍부 때문에 집에 된지디 풍부 때문에 또 어디 풍부 때문에 된지는 때문에 집에 된지는 누구 말해봐야지 풍부 아니 못하대 임비 최단 최전이거든 못하대 그래서 내가 가상에 아니 가서 우리 라라메 여바 또 어디 아니 처라 So
the first of these is that understanding that so understanding that the aggregates, or you could apply this to a person as well, is unreal would not contradict or negate the cognition which holds the aggregates or the person, whichever base you're talking about, as being real. So that's the first fault that would, contradiction that would obtain. And then the example that's given is that knowing that the example that's given is that knowing that there is fire on a pass based upon the appearance of smoke, that understanding would not serve as a means to ascertain that there is no fire in a lake because of the absence of smoke.
Oh yeah, that's how it is. That didn't put you out there. And Pumbo Dendon, the Pumbinelu Maraves. Pumboda Pumbo Dendon, you would know what there was. And the Pumba Gavinelu Maimanashi race. Pumboda Pumbo Dendon, Tantigre.
Pumbadan Kawi.
Pumbo Dendon, Pumbinelu Maraves. 풍부 되는 풍부 날로 많이나 많이 고거래 풍부다 풍부 된돈이 오던 거 타자러 왔어. 아니 풍부 날 풍부 가위 날로 많이 받나시래서 풍부 가와 날로 많이 받나시.
Here then it would be the case, second problem, that unacceptable problem that would obtain is that the aggregates being empty of being real would not be the nature, the final nature of the aggregates. It would be the case that the absence, lack of being real with respect to the aggregates would not be the final nature of the aggregates. They would be intrinsically different if they were not of the same character. Therefore, it would be like the aggregates and a pillar. The pillar is not the same. Is not the way that the aggregates exist, and it would have this. It would if the absence of being real with respect to the aggregates was of a intrinsically distinct character from the aggregates, then it would have the same status as like a pillar, which is a thing completely distinct from the aggregates.
Oh yeah, that is. That pombitindu, ane kaja namba chetam, ane kasore. Pombitindu kaja duru namba chetam, pombi nelu mayin barwe, marwe, pombodang ane nelu nyodong wata derawas.
So then the then the question that's posed here is that isn't it the case that the being real is the object of negation, which is posited upon the aggregates. Based upon the aggregates, the object of negation is established on the aggregates. That is, being real as is the object of negation.
Oh, that is it. Ane pombo dendu pombi dendu dendu seba losu. Ane pombi ngoji seba revesi. Dendu seba le losu. Ane pombi ngoji seba revesi.
And then the third one is, isn't it the case that the Bhagavan, the Buddha, sees the nature of the aggregates as being such that they are not real?
Oh, ane dening o tadela tadayina gyön shide te shoji che. Ta dening o jigina gyön shode o jigina ta doba jigina. 도바지이나 아니 가서래 품바다 된동 오지이나 아니 품바 무슨 품바도 로디 그 품바 된동 또 품바다 된동 도바지기 그래와 품바 된동 또 로디 그 품바 소소지비 품바 소소지오 그 품바 된동 시기래 품바 또 와라 아니 마도 소소지오를 자나 지그러 받아 also do ki pumba dendo siverwe pumba sibich pumba da don't chikim pitch.
So if the aggregates and if the two realities were identical, such that they were not just merely identical, such that they were not conceptually distinct, then it would be the case that an ordinary person, wouldn't it be the case that an ordinary person in seeing the aggregates would see their absence of being real? That is, because if they're identical such that they're not even conceptually distinguishable, then the aggregates and their absence of being real would be, any time one sees one would see the other.
Oh yeah. 품바레면에 니모께와 나시 아니 품바된 돈라면에 니모께 그래왜 품바도 꾸냐 니모꾸나 로이 시임바 나시 아니 된돈대야 아니 대나시래왜 다 샤바자 못한 드그리 된돈라면에 니모께 그래 품바라면에 아니 니모께 그와래 아니 제와대 권인이 중어 지그러와 지가 도바 지그러와
So if they're conceptual, they're not even distinguishable conceptually, then it wouldn't be the case that seeing the unreality of the aggregates would give rise to the disturbing the mental afflictions. Because when one sees the aggregates, then it's based upon seeing them that the mental afflictions arise. And since they're completely identical with their absence of being real, then if that was the case, then seeing the absence of being real with respect to the aggregates would also give rise to the mental afflictions.
아니 풍부하면 부자 조이나 풍부이나 쳐봐요 말이야. 시간 풍부라 나만나서 봐 놀라 쳐주여 봐 내신. 아니 취니 되라양 아니 나봐 나 놀라 쳐주 나봐 미라와요 알아서. 취니 탐제 가제된 루카페 나봐 잔도 쳐야면 돼요 말아 나봐 지래. 그러와 어디서 거래. 최전 수라 나봐 미라와 나 쳐와요 봐 당신 취 취니라양 나봐 미라와 쳐와 요거 그러래. So if then like say a physical form of one of the aggregates and its nature, here referring to its final nature, its emptiness, if they were identical such that they're not even conceptually distinguishable, then just as phenomenal things, like all of the different, there's a diversity of phenomenal things, then it would be the case that likewise the absence of them being real and their absence of intrinsic existence would be diverse in the way in which it appears to the mind. Just as when we are aware of the plurality, multiplicity of phenomenal things, there's all these different kinds of, they appear differently, different aspects. And if it was the case that those things which are the base of this nature if the base and the nature itself were identical, such that they were completely indistinguishable, even conceptually, then when the absence of being real or this final nature of things appeared to the mind, it would appear diverse in a multiplicity of different forms. Oh yeah, that 그래서 지가로 어찌어디 다 수지된 부범 수지된 그 천이 떠발래 로서 아니 수된동 아나 배배 아니 가서 수된동 떠발래 배서 치면 거 같아. 와 수지 수 떠발래서 수지 천이 떠빌라고 아니 배서 먹어 같아. 아 수된동 수다 떠받치기 미실.
So then, likewise, there would be no, you wouldn't have to, it would take no effort to understand this absence of being real. It would take no effort at all. Because if they were identical, that is, if the form, this physical form, as well, and its absence of being real were not even conceptually distinguishable, then it would take no effort to understand this absence of being real, the nature of the visible form, physical forms. There would be take no effort at all.
Oh, that day, 오직이나 또 태대이나 아니 그 시당 도바직이나 그 시대 아니 도도 공대라고 하는 측나라 요아래. 저 전답이 천이 태대바이마 균난이 되제 남지 다음에 받았나 아니 가서 대담이 무중에서 당해 아버지 좀 왔으면 뒤따다 두세 도도 공대는 요아래.
So this is explained. These actual words basically are explained in the Samdhinirmochana Sutra, the explication of the thought sutra, and I don't remember the exact way it goes in exactly, but these all four contradictory faults that would arise if the two realities were not of the same character. And then likewise the four sorts of faults that would arise if they were not conceptually distinct. Those are enumerated in this sutra.
Oh yeah, that's right.
네, 잠깐만요.
아,
만보도.
만보도에. 이를 가려야 되지 만보시는데.
If one has a direct non-conceptual realization of the emptiness of a clock, taking the clock as the base, then for that mental awareness, or mental consciousness, the mind will not see the clock. But if the eyes are open at that time, what will the visual consciousness see? Okay. Because 디 추측이 계시요래. 추측이 돈이 도서나 문숨도 도서나.
시.
디 미치
돈이 무슨 도서나.
미치기 문숨 박박 문숨도
박박 문숨 도나.
도나 디 추측이 돈이 도서나.
추측.
말에 디 추측.
아니야 추측이 돈이 무슨 도나. 아니
추측이 돈이 도서나. 눈숨도 그래서 독매 눈숨도 도나.
추측이 돈이 무슨 너나 무슨 도고 말해. 돈이 도나 림바 마부요라 와. 아무 도 빼도.
이 담보 디 그래서 박배 냠창 예식이 뭐 요르바. 박배 냠창 예식이 뭐. 지그 추측이 튕기 돈이 디 도서나 되니 박바디 이시엘라 이기 넘버 쉐블라 주주 남기면도
파파가 다다리
아니 파파디 믹 마츠나
믹 마도나
믹 마츠 how you say open 땅 믹
마다나
믹땅 땅라 say open 믹땅라 디 주주 다네 주주지니 되니 믹시엘라 카리 믹시엘라 가리난기래.
가요 문도 냠샤게 내가라. 바바 냠샤게 내가라. 미셰 가가 온주와 가서. 이셰만 되어 말이. 미셰 온주와 가서.
So this problem is actually not actually a problem because when one is in meditative absorption, this non-conceptual direct realization of emptiness, the other sense conscious awarenesses, like the sensory awarenesses, vision and so forth, are stopped. So there's no vision, not that kind, not sensory vision is not taking place. Then Then after they come out of So as soon as the visual awareness has reappeared, after one has arisen out of that kind of meditative concentration, then they'll see the visual things, the other, like clocks, etc. Then oh, sorry, I didn't translate that. Would Rinpoche please give a description of how to incorporate one of the searches, maybe the reason of dependence, into an actual insight meditation session? The Hlaktung Gondu the Tube Rikpa Kandisi Bejudang Gre. Hlaktung Tube Rikpa Kandisi No.
Hlaktung Gondu Jamba Nela Hlaktung Gomela, you did then a Belgorwa. Then the deep of the Tony, the you did Tony Sirikana, Tony, you Tony Yina, and in Nela Ribatella Tana, Tony Della Pop. Tony Della Papi, Ribatella Tana, Anita, Hlaktung Jegore. Hlaktung Jevi Kanlayang, and the young, you don't buy that, Yana Yang Chabat, Chabakugore, Chabakai, Ribat Tana, you Chechogora.
So then, yes, so this kind of reasoning of contingency, or it's translated sometimes as reasoning based on dependence or contingency, that kind of reasoning one uses these reasonings in the initial phase of establishing emptiness, that is when one's just doing the investigation into the nature of things and determining through rational analysis that things are empty. But once one has actually established that emptiness, then within the context of actual insight practice, then one would likewise, again, employ these kinds of reasonings within the context of that meditation. Please could Rinpoche clarify what are the 6 sense organs different from the gross eye, ear, and so forth? In particular, what is the mental sense organ? 왕부둑 디 왕부둑 디 미시 왕부둑 디 믹 죽칭기 믹당 미키 왕보 카리 개박하요레스 죽칭기 믹
제다 미가 안보 잡아요 말세
말에 디 미키 왕보 크랑라
미가 안보다
죽락바당 가사
알데 차이데스긴지레 가사 치동반이다 난동반이 친한동반이 주주가라 데스기나 동니 니시 샤주가라 동니 니시도 동시 최전권의 샤고레스 동니 니시 최지 아니 동시 최전 샤주가라 치동반이 있을가라 수수치 진그 동반들라 치동반이 있체 그봐 다 뒤에는 다 난동반이 있으나 나 안보 Miso ambonga yingi tomba tela na tomba niche. Right? Ambo de nangi sujan tangwa. Ko nesa ki mikta ridi. Wanda khoba ko nesa ki tedela wanda khoba sigore. Ambo nesa ki tedela. Ambo nesa ki tende miga ambo tela tene chi. Right? Chi. Suso la tene yu. Suso yu la tene nang. So,
if this is in reference to the discussion of inner and outer emptiness, then as was discussed within the context of the 20 emptinesses yesterday, then so the physical, the eye organ, for example, there's the the eye organ is a subtle kind of form, physical form, which is within the sort of socket within which the eye is placed. And so one can examine that in 2 ways, as sort of like an external thing. It's external to the awareness, visual awareness that is based on it, but from the point of view of visible objects that are cognized via the medium of that visual organ, then it's a internal sort of thing if one is discussing it in that way. You know, 이기 왕보 가리요레사.
이기 왕 이시강로 테마타도 집이 아니 이주알티 일하시래. 안보 왕시 탐봉아 가마타비 얌 이시강로 테마타도 집이 이주알이 이래고. 이제 안보 수저 말해.
So the mental organ, so-called, is not an actual physical organ like the other 5 sensory organs are. Rather, it's a mental event which occurs immediately after the activity of the 5 sensory organs has concluded in cognizing an object.
주보 대마 타바이 남시 간이 티지도 저기 가라. 남시 주모 왕시 주 대마 타바기 이대 이니 이지 감사 티 안에 가서 이식을 주치가 말해. 이식이 규 이지 근데 이지 감사 안 보시 라면 봐.
So this element or organ is so-called is the is that it's sort of like the mental event that occurs immediately subsequent to the stoppage of some visual awarenesses, or immediately after visual and other sensory awarenesses have cognized their objects.
yeah, that's it. Oh, yeah. I touch you, Kawarogo, do you rebutila? Rava, do you rebut Debunan Ju, Debunan Junga Judan, Gela Deo, Liang, Gundu the Tendam Tetakishi Cho, Daddy, Deva said that Tajunga Shuana Shinchani, Gujela Devi, and Gujan Shala Dana, Deuna Gujan Shala Dewa Dawdi, Mama Manjaki Jotuache. And Digi, Ya Castle, Tawato, Chaswana, and Tajishuana Shinchani. This is what I consider. De Gula Devi, Tayodo, Kongoma Queen de Mejans. De Gula Tayodo, and Wema Waka from them of Wakaka de Grace. That good devil at Dewa. Good devil at Dewa. What devils do say the any devil let them a shower of Mato Shana Josemia. Good devil at Dewa. Ani Dada Nyan Selen, Dada Nyan Selen, Dada Tune, Nyandang, Nyeladen and Dra. Jacque. Oh, de Gula Dayo, Kongoma with them Mejans. And you would dashing, Daniel so. And you Topa Dayo Tees, Dradan, yes, Topa Tawa Zamados. Ah, and a Rawanki Meba. That's what they and a Topa Tawa Latene, Jacque. Oh, they tender what they are. Caso Shella Ralan, send it Tawala Tewa, Shella Raleba. Oh, Shella Raleba, or Shella Rama Leba Truba Rama Truba de Rava, or tender what they die you Tusum, and a charge lesum, Kankala Pacha, Chavabola Tena Chava Shoge, Chavala Tena Chavabo Shoge. And there was a Maomba, Tata Sumbota Gala, there was a Tena Maomba, Tata was a Tena Maomba. That piece of Butila Tena Tejokman Josameba. That Digi, and it occurs so resana. Then it Casore, Shella Ra Maleba, Shella Tewa, Shantella Ra Leva Tojala, Shella Ra Maleva, the Kachatamari.
So here then we've got to return to the reasoning based on contingency or dependence, and then as we were saying earlier today, that this can refer to the fact that results arise contingent upon causes and conditions, or dependent upon causes and conditions. This understanding that the result is contingent upon its specific causes and conditions is something that's understood on that level, even by realist philosophers that are realist forms of philosophers. However, then there's a subtler level of this, a subtler understanding of this, in which the contingency is, it goes both ways, so that ordinarily we would say that an effect is contingent upon a cause, and we don't typically think of the cause as being dependent upon the effect. But in this system, then one can and must indeed establish that the cause is actually contingent upon the effect. The reason for this is that they're merely conceptually designated as such. That is, the effect is conceptually designated as an effect based upon the cause by conceptual designation of its causes. And then likewise, the causes are conceptually designated as causes based upon their relationship, their contingent relationship with the effect. And this applies to everything. All external and internal things have this kind of contingency such that, so if we talk about, for example, past, present, and future, the past is conceptually designated based upon its priority to the present and vice versa. And similarly with the relationship between present and future, these all three of these are related in this contingent way. That is, each of them is conceptually designated based on their contingent relationship with the other members of the three things, past, present, and future. Similarly, in all sorts of relationships, such as relationships between agents, actions, and objects of action, the agent is conceptually designated, is merely designated conceptually by virtue of its contingent relationship to the object of the action itself, and the same thing applies to the other two members of that three-part thing: agent, action, and object of action. All things are contingently determined and are conceptually designated. The other schools of philosophy that are all the other realists are unable to establish this kind of relationship among things. This is a unique feature of this system.
Oh yeah. You do some 자제 탐지하라 고권에 자대 세비 체세. 다 자제 탐지하라 봐. 안길을 떼와디 떼루데 봐 제대로 가나 뒤체세. 내 가서 가서래 뒤뒤에 가난 대신디 뒤뒤에 가난 대신디 코대에 가난 동바 샤라. 단다 강한 아니 치다난 거치 강단 강나와데 덴바 주와 나야데 아니 현라 라라바데 통뒤 잠바 현라对吧 현라 라라와데 통뒤 간라 아니 현라 라 말야와데 다 현라 마도와데 아니 가르 킥조지 잠바 아니 뒤뒤에 강난 대신디 코도데 아니 강나와데 동바 차거와리 동바 차거와리
This kind of understanding of the contingency of things, that they exist as they're conceptually designated, contingent upon other things, enables one to understand that whatever appears here, this is referring to everything, internal and external phenomena. All of them, whatever they appear, when they appear to be real, as if they exist, here real meaning autonomous, not depending upon other things. When they appear that way, by understanding their contingency, that they only are established or exist contingently, then that enables one to recognize that whatever it is that's appearing to be real, as if it was autonomous and existing, able to not depending upon other things, one is able to recognize that although they appear that way, that they don't exist that way, and one's able to realize, to see that they're actually not real. They're unreal in that way.
뒤뒤에 강난 동바 차를 강난와 타제 아니 라신지 주와 나양 라신지 마주베 동바 차뒤 잠바 아니 뒤뒤 잠바 루루에서 공부되냐 바래 바 루루에서 공부니 루루에서 그 최담자 라신지 마주베 마주침나 라신지 주 마주장 가서 라신지 주와 나양 라신지 동바 바 루루에서 공부되냐 바래 뒤뒤에 배류에 가서 공부하니 뒤뒤에 다외 잡아 줘와 루루에 세지 공부하니 봐 안 다제 그 양살라 줘와 안노 그 자와 집에 남나 쉬와 안 뒤뒤에 연구 알아서 말해 자와 집에 남나 쉬와
So this kind of understanding, then, once one sees, understands, based upon this reasoning of the contingency, that things are contingently existent or contingently established, that then enables one to recognize that whenever something appears as if it was real, one can understand that it's not real, existing in the way it appears, that it's not autonomous or things appear to us as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic natures. So this understanding of the contingency of things then enables us to see that although they appear as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic nature, they don't exist that way. And so one realizes that although they appear to exist by means of by means of their own intrinsic nature, they're empty of that kind of intrinsic nature, so that everything that appears, although it's appearing to us as if it was real, we understand that it's really empty, and such that the appearance of things, even as existing as if they existed by means of their intrinsic nature, is able to enables us to see that they are in reality are empty of that kind of intrinsic nature. And when one is able to take the appearance of things as being real as evidence for their not existing as they appear, such that one understands that they're actually empty, then one has obtained the thought of Arya Nagarjuna. This is the point where one has obtained this view. You do So once one understands this, has this kind of is familiar with this, has gained familiarity with this, then a person who has seen this in this way, they are free from the two extremes, from falling into the abyss of the extreme of existence or non-existence, and they have obtained the path which pleases the victors.
Oh yeah, that the cancer. And you can let my imba, and ya Tawa Shasona, then or then the Chamola Shatan, that do seem body. They are good to the tender, but Tadakishinam so, Gona, and she's also going to tell walls. That's how I say, may any castle, Pussy be Chawachaba. So, Chur Tamja, and the Rang Chawachaba, Chokanda Kainayang. Ane me pesisi bi chawa chaban zirarang ke chawa chaba de chawa chibe ribacha. Ane oi dian dini cheso. Ane dini chaba bori. Dini che di ke chawa re. Dini lesu chawa re. Oda di chawa de la. Chawa chibe riba chajila chawa de la.
So then when one does this kind of investigation of the things by means of this reasoning based on contingency, then one looks at the individual things which are included within the phenomenal and the ultimate. When one examines or looks into the phenomenal things as well as the ultimate nature of things, as well as the bases of those things. Then the next reasoning is reasoning based on the performance of function. So, for example, the fire performs the function of burning. This sort of thing. So phenomena each have their own sort of functionality. Their individual functionality. So one does this kind of examination like this, saying, this is a phenomenon. This is its action, its function, and this phenomenon. This is a phenomenon. This is its activity. And this phenomenon performs this function. you do it in that way, examining things, and then the example was given above with fire performing the function of burning.
Oh yeah, 제 초하고 다디게 차와치비 리바데체 태베 루비 리바니 아니 참마다 명가와 전주바고 있다 담자유 되는데 아니 참마다 가미가 전주바 참마다 가미가 담자유 되는데라 무슨 그 내봐 예매 다 원래 송的량 지디라 담자유 되는데라 아니 무슨 그 내봐 예매 무슨 긴 무슨 마주바 되지나 무슨 남에나야 양 제바 따라 되는 집에 제바 아니 어떻게 제바 참아기 내봐 예매 아니 이체비 lungi 내봐 예매 다시 꼭주되라 변한 샤자들 내 수명하래 통원주 그러나 샤자들 내 수명요가 통원주 아니 양 중사 꼭주 아니 신도 꼭주 전에 숨전에 원주 대다라 통원주 대다라 아니 무슨 참아 근데 밤에와 중사 꼭도 주와 대다라 아니 뭐도 제바 될게 밤에봐 당고도 제바 사람한테 제바 참에 내 밤에봐 다 리베 좀 뭐도 그 리바근 좀 메뉴 바기 아니 랜데 차신 차와라 소와 신도 꼭주 된줄라 아니 좀 된데지 농 참아진 로고요 말이 루게와 차와라는 데위디단디 데위딘데지 용그래 세야나 아니 가서래 인디지 수rum송알라 때네 아니 온디 차와 대단 딘다와지 톱그래 세야 딘조다 아니 가래라서나 롱 리발라 때나 봄에 줘 봐네 아니 좀 된데 그 롱라 뽑고야기 아니 신도 고주기 롱 체네 어 대인자 통원주라 무슨 중사 고주라 잡아 신도 고주라 아니 리치 롱이 아니 내가 예매 초유권에 아니 다 내가 예매 제도권에 속으래
테베주비 릭바.
테베주비 릭바. 테베주비 릭바니 참마다 민가와 전주바고 있어.
So then the next of these three kinds of examinations is the examination which proceeds through a demonstrable proof. Here, this refers to establishing something which one is proposing, a proposition, in a way that doesn't contradict with valid knowledge. So with regard to this, one investigates or examines things in this way, asking the question, does this thing exist or not exist such that it can be validly established by means of one of the three standards of knowledge, that is perception, inference, or authoritative scripture or authoritative statements. So here, these three standards of valid knowledge are determined by the nature of the kinds of objects that they are valid knowledge with respect to. Perception is valid with respect to sensible things. That is, so things that one can see, hear, etc., with one's senses. Perception is valid through that. Inference is valid knowledge with respect, or is the means by which one gains valid knowledge with respect to things that are not sensible and not accessible via the senses. And then the other, and these things are called slightly hidden objects. Objects that are available to the senses are called obvious objects, things that are apparent to the senses. And then slightly hidden things that one cannot ascertain through one's senses, but that one has to rely upon inference in order to ascertain them. then one has to rely upon inference as a means of valid knowledge. Then the third, for things which one cannot determine through the senses or through inference, these are called extremely hidden objects. And these extremely hidden objects, such as the operation of karma and its results in specific cases, where, for example, the Bhagavan Buddha said that this particular event occurred because of this particular action that was performed in the past. In that case, neither the senses nor inference are able to determine whether or not that is valid, is the case. So in that case, one has to rely upon statements that are trustworthy statements in order to establish that those kinds of events or those relationships and such are actually the case. So these three forms of valid knowledge enable one to determine whether or not something which has been asserted to be the case is actually the case. Maybe do it else.
Oh yeah. The Muslim that Java is a long time you that may start Tong you that the church. That change Ribani may Savadan, Chu Lamba Sola, Tada and the Jidan change to Tada go change to and Jidan and Tabi change down. And some Jimaja will change. Never change la Sola chasing that ranks some to major be changed down. Now you change la Sola chasing. Tada Yimbi, Vincent Shame about Koran change game. Met Sawata or Koran change grade. Children be rushing the change remando, Kola Vincent Shame about. Or any Shame is about any Tada Sola.
Then there's the reasoning of nature. Here, this nature is dharmata, and there's three forms of this nature. For example, the nature which is commonly understood in the world, that heat is the nature of fire, being wet is the nature of water. So these fire and water have those natures. This is commonly understood in the world that these are their natures. This kind of nature of things isn't such that it can be established by any kind of other sort of reason. Rather, it's just as it is understood in the world. Then there's another form of nature that's called inconceivable nature, and the abiding nature also.
Oh yeah. That any casare. That the Chowa Chubo day. Or the Chowa Chubo day, maybe Chubote, maybe one of some the Shabatella. Tada any casore turn over. Any castle, 10 cho to root, any root, any tada cho to the shabby, any nanjo, share the show and something eddies. Nanjo, share the soon to question, Chida, Mary turn, Chiggy turn, Chiggy Maram, Chuggy turn down. Any says that Chida, Chineba. 什么？现在青年把工作被缺堂，现在其他话，俺那当半年，我听了，俺那看说的，糖票往多钱呢？俺错糖票往多钱呢？在那糖票往多钱呢？错糖不哦，全错有往多钱呢？错糖不哦，你越往多钱呢？我错话糖，俺那两个错，两个成绩错话你说。 顺便往多钱呢？他们说，俺那看说的大。哦，他们说错堂推堂人要是错啊，错堂推堂他们说的，俺那记成你，错堂推堂人当，俺让你让他记成你几哪年？你记成你错下过是。
So then this reasoning with respect to nature, these are such that it's not the case that one has to have acceptance of these, belief in them, that they are like that, and there's no other reasons that one can use there's no other reasons to be considered to establish them as being in that way. So then one examines them in nature in that way. Then these six. These have been established as six. The six kinds of examination. Since they've been established as six, then a yogi or yogini should the things which they're to know are definitely ascertained as three. And so things which are the objects which are objects of expression, such as things that are expressed as words, are to be examined via this examination of the meaning, as was given above, the first of the six examinations. Then objects of knowledge which are phenomenal, that is the diversity of objects, diverse objects of knowledge, which are here referring to phenomenal things, are to be understood as the second category. And then the third category is the things as they are, which is referring to emptiness. And so then with regard to those three things to be known by yogis and yoginis, it says that in accordance with the first of those, that's the examination of meaning, then the words and such. In terms of the meaning of verbal expressions, one does that through the examination of meaning as given above. So that's the first of the six examinations. Then the second. In accordance with the second of the three that were just listed here, the three just listed meaning objects of knowledge in their diversity, referring to phenomenal things, one does this, an examination of that in terms of looking at the second of the six, that is things, that sort of examination, as well as the examination of the specific identities of things. So those two. And then the third of the three categories that were just given with respect to objects of knowledge to be known by yogis and yoginis. The third of these is the remaining three, meaning the sides, time, and reasons, as well as the common identity of things. Those three, the last three plus the common identity of things, which is the second part of the third of the six. So in those, that's how this is presented.
Oh yeah. 다 좀봐 얘도 셔봐라. 한번 초반에 고슴도 주니 당불 셔비 나 전혀 초반이나 향동 시 향동 시 향동 시권이 있어. 향동 시 가르를 해서 다야게 제바다 남바 제바다 아니 용수 제바 가서 또 바당 아니 가서래 용수 제바 다시 저 치다봐라 진행봐라 자고와 어디 시권에 아니 숨래에서 시고 숨보대 가산 가지 대중 권을 셔가지고 가나 아니 참말을 중화도 원수 처와를 중화를 소도발을 중화 와 고숨 인라 초로 단대 가르를 해서는 안에 된당 고체체나 된주부터 된당 오다 천일라 쏘와 아니 초초도 송배 아니 고슴당 초와 주니 아니 아마시 가르를 해서나 제바다 나바 제바당 또 바다 와서 제바시 나라도
Kendi nie ma sądi. 당보 쉐바. 당보 쉐바서.
당보샤바서 전초와.
전초와.
당보샤바 상동 시관의 숨인데 시관의 숨래 시가래서나 달라디. 로 시들 저바다 남바 저바다 또바다 저바디 말아. 시관의 숨 가르래서나 아니 참말에 중화당. 여기서 서와래 중화 소도바래 중화 숨체. 서로 주도 숨배 아니 주도 숨배서 전라서와 주도 숨배 고섬다 초와 주니 아니 아마 아니 가소래 제바다 남바 제바당 제바다 또바시 두아레
제바다 남바 제바다. So then, with respect to the insight, which is explained with respect to the first, here the first is the examination of the meaning, first of the six. So that insight, which is explained with respect to the first of the six examinations, 당보셰비 플라톤 시고 니
상동 시고니 숨이라 상동 시와 담 얘게 제바다 남바 제바다 또바다 온스 제바시 시 아니 가서 고시고니 시고니 숨 참말의 중화도 온스 저와의 중화 숨이와 참말의 중화 온스 저와의 중화 소도바의 중화.
So there are three doors or entrances which are listed above. That is the three doors, that which arises from the image, that which arises from or consists of thorough examination, that which consists with re-examination, as mentioned above, that are. These are the entrances to the four kinds of insight which were discussed previously. That is the four, meaning the investigation, further investigation, thorough consideration, and thorough analysis, which were given above. And these are explained with respect to the first of the six kinds of examinations, that examination of meaning. And then, in addition to that, because the kinds of examinations are explained as being six, then the three doors or three entrances and the six examinations are included within the initial four, which is the four the four natures of insight.
Yes, no, yeah.
Yeah.
저를 주니 주도 숨배 고슴다 초추 주니 아마 실도 스나바 제바당 무슨 제바당 또바당 무슨 제바 시오제 도하체 다시 이와 대라 이제시 예준이 다 대랑 이제시 예준이 세대다 이제시대 응아를 때 이제시 예준이 가서 이와 대라 이제시 요연이 응아를 셰비 림데 주비 이제라 소와 시양 림데 주비 이제라 소와 시양 시라니기 투모와 예배 냐서 송배 상동라야 이지시 여도 어땠어요?
So then, the previously explained four kinds of attention. Here, there's four sorts of attention. Attention which is conveyed by force, attention which is conveyed with gaps, and attention which is conveyed without gaps, and attention which is conveyed effortlessly. So these four are explained as in the Shravaka Bhumi as being common to both shamatha and insight meditation, shamatha being like tranquil pacification or stable abiding meditation, as well as insight meditation. So since they're explained as being common to both, it's the case that these four kinds of attention occur within insight as well.
Oh yeah, that you can say is an castle. Not a Siabergi, not a senior to be castle de la Annie Castle, Jim de Jubi Ichi, Chajin Jubi Ichi, Chabameba Jubi Ichi, Shinji Jubi Ichi, and Ichi Shisha.
So what were these four? These were explained in this text previously in the context of how one achieves shamatha, the stable, abiding kind of meditative concentration. So in that, the four are listed, and the first one is called, and here the term is attention. Attention which is conveyed by force, by some kind of effort or force. And then attention which is conveyed with gaps, attention conveyed without gaps, and attention which is conveyed effortlessly.
That is, Sinadrubi Gala, and a seminar Gusha. Ra, Sinadrubi Gantami Bacarella Shagina, Tombani the Shagina, and a rank with the bear, Sagudo Miba Inade, Carella Migina, Mibatella, and some joba. Any castle in the jobber, a land jobber, any castle number Shiva castle, land jobber, two a cheba, Shiva cheba, number Shiva cheba, Siju cheba, number jobber, seminar goose, of course. Jobber, in the jobber.
So these four kinds of attention are then employed also in the context of the development of the shamatha, stable abiding meditation. And in that kind of meditation, development of that form of meditative concentration, one can take different forms of objects. For example, one can take emptiness as the object, which one develops stable, focused concentration on. Or one could take, for example, one's chosen deity, the body of one's chosen deity as the object of meditation. And then when one is developing this, one proceeds through 9 states of mind. The mind proceeds through 9 states in the development of this. The first is called placement, where the mind is placed on the object. Then the second one is called continual placement.
Oh yeah, that take gala, Tamboniga, Casamna Tamboniga Gaso, and it Jim de Job is Shagore.
And these first 2 states of placing the mind on the object that one's selected for meditative concentration. The first 2 states, the placement and continued placement of the mind, occur due to this attention, which is conveyed by force, with effort. Do you have the text in that? In the text? Is there a translation of that? Of that section of the? It's on 274 of the Tibetan, and I don't have that. It's in 164 of 154. So this is all. This appears in this text in that section of the text where one's developing shamatha, sort of meditative concentration.
봐. 되네. 아니 렌즈 줘봐. 아니 두와 줘봐, 시와 줘봐. 그 영화 줘봐, 두와 줘봐, 시와 줘봐. 为什么我也告诉按你财经就比一些钱？
Linda Jopatang, Duo Chip,
印度交把当，全部你告诉，什么呢？过来一切全部你给告诉，交把当印度交比那个啦，按你真的就比一切，
So again, the first of these that were when was the first initial placement of the mind on the object, and then the continued placement of the mind on the object occurs through this attention which is conveyed with force, and then the next set of three, which is, do you have that Tibetan of that? Yeah. Where is it? Over there? Is there all listed there? Is there a list of just the 9 actually? 274? No. Oh yeah. Up till 274.
如果你在对就团结得当。
So this. Yeah, so it goes from 274 through 278, I guess, of the basic text. So then, So the first one is the placement of the mind. Then there's continued placement of the mind. Then it's called like close placement of the mind. The taming of the mind, and third one, lente chopa.
一些是约束啦，哇，一些是约束嘞，他的年岁嘞，3年过了，一些是要把下巴打先呐，3年过了，一些是要把这先呐。 다 컨디션에 세나 세면 굴에 지시 여바 샤바다 샤나 세면 담보니 조바다 준도 조바니라 베베 좀 거베 미발라 베베 좀 거바 인상 아니 좀도 조바탕 와 다른 되는 말 제가 연제 조바다 녀와 조바다 두와 쳐바다 시와 쳐바다 나바 시와 쳐바 그래 어때 이가라 세면 어이 가수 중거지 파도 째네 推人不讲明的把人，他没把那这些都教给我的，俺那呢没得把，让那青蛙给俺那出街，让那胳膊给出街的，有人不讲明的把一张，俺那切进酒吧，是吧？天天3年结巴了，3年结巴得了，俺那个，那么说这就是切吧。 와 제주도 쳐봐대. 중국이 파도 제민에 배 퇴르보 정주 주바 인장 쳐봐 매봐 주바. 좋아. 대내 세면 고바 대선 제주비 정의 간라. 아니 중국이 제민에 봐 매다 미발라 기타 된데도 냠바 줘봐 인장 현지 주비 이제.
So then here, this on actually page 278 of the Tibetan text, where it says that in the Shravaka Bhumi, it's called basically the ground or foundation for Shravakas, disciples practicing this. It says that the 4 kinds of attention are explained with respect to the 9 states of mind that are developed within shamatha, this kind of stable mental abiding. So the first, during the time of the first 2 mental states, then one has to use effort to maintain it. So, because it's necessary to, one has to sort of use, in effect, force to have the mind remain on the object. So it's called being that which is conveyed by force. That kind of the attention there is conveyed by force. Then during 5 states the next 5 states, there are interruptions by means of sinking and distraction or scattering of the mind from the object, and so because of those interruptions, one's not able to maintain the meditative focus throughout for a long session of practice. And so it's occasionally interrupted, and so therefore it's called, attention is conveyed with gaps. There are gaps in the attention that one is applying in the meditation session. And then on the 8th state, mental mind state, when one's developing this, because one is no longer interrupted by sinking and scattering, then one's able to maintain the concentration throughout the course of a long session, and so that's called uninterrupted attention, or attention without any kind of gaps in it, or uninterrupted attention for that throughout that occasion or that session. Then on the 9th state of mind that one develops, there's no interruption at all. The attention is not interrupted at all, and so then during that, you don't need to, in the 9th state, then there's no kind of interruption during the course of the session, and you don't have to, also throughout the course of the session, you don't need to resort to any kind of effort to maintain it. Therefore, this is called, one has placed the mind in an intention which engages in the object without any kind of effort. So that's why it's called effortless attention in that state.
다 담보 선내 기회 정방고의 거래를 해서나 다 될라 대중에 줘봐서 나서 선내 담보대 담보라 굴에 될라 태단 될라 샘 줘봐니 담미바 거래 일이나 사고라면 비나래 샘라면에 신내 두고 이나래 야 동반이라면에 신내 두고 이나래 다 거래랑 그 신내 갈래 두고 이나 미바 태단 될라 샘 줘봐니 치료지 미바 탐제라 아니 셈바 뒤네 셈 치료지 미바라 인와디 숨 뒤네 나도 아니 미바텔라 떠바텔라 줘봐 스과데 인단 테라 아니 지시 참바고 도대 게가서 미발라니 셈때네 셰소 어쩌세나 탐보데.
So then, back on page 274 of the Tibetan, where it's this part of the text which is talking about the stages of giving rise to the mind, mental states in dependence on the above. It says that there's the actual way in stages of the way in which the mind, these mental states arise, and then how these are accomplished by means of the 6 powers, and the way in which these occur due to the 4 kinds of attention, which were mentioned. We've already gone over the 4 kinds of attention, how they exist, And then with respect to the actual mental states that arise through the development of shamatha, then there's 9 of these, and the first of these is that when one placing the mind, the first one's called placing the mind, and here it says one places the mind on whatever one places it on. Here, as said, one can take, for example, a emptiness as the object, or one can take the divine body of one's chosen deity as the object, or one could take the mind as the object and use that as the object of meditation. And then when one does that, one withdraws one's mind from all external observed objects, any kind of external object, and sets the mind upon the internal object that one has selected. And so, no, and then the ornament for the ornament for the sutras then says, explains that by saying that fixing the mind on the object. Here, the object is placing or fixing the mind on that observed object, which is the internal object.
Oh, that's it. Tell me about Tambote. That's a name. Gundu Jobate. And a condo Tambo me about Dasaki, Sem Telly, and a Shandu Miwa. Mibatella, Gu to the Jubatella. And a Gundu Joba. What they take Kung della, and a Mibatele, and a Gu Chibamado, number Iwa Mishaba, Tuki number I Micha, some Shala Miwa. Mama, some Tabigas of Miba Karl Dayanaya. Ani tela ma gyun tite joba tela gyun de joba semya yiwa ni wotre wa taji wa tenyin yi wo da trim de jubi yi che josa tenyin yi wotre yi ji shi gna ne.
So then the second mental state it's achieved in this in the process of developing shamatha is called constant placement or continuous placement. Here, one places one's mind on constantly on that object without having the mind be distracted, wandering away, or being distracted to something else. So initially in the first stage, one has placed the mind upon the object, and then in the second phase, one constantly places the mind on that object without letting it wander, be distracted to something else.
Oh yeah, taking about images. 다 되니 균 튼디 내 두고 말에 안에 샘치록 유라 이니 안에 미바데 안에 템백 바 유네 바 저선디 잠바 안미바 샘치로라 인디 잠바 안에 정하게 치로데 이나 인와데 안에 시신그 배 차라잖아 시와 체네 라양 나를 미된 당보 미된 가르소 이나양 안에 미바 되니라 안에 양 샘데 춘 꼭대 도바텔라 아니 치로그 인와데 바 아니 뉴도 시와 체네 아니 응아르지 미바텔라 샘수 아니 조바텔라 나면이도 도잖아 텔라라니 람바차 이래
람바차
하고서
지 가서
네
렌티 조바
So
the verse out of the ornament for the sutras, the line from the ornament for sutras, it says that one should, for the second mental state, is that one should not allow oneself to be distracted from the continuity of that. So to repeat this, in the first one, one places the mind on the object. In the second, there's a continuity of placement of the mind on the object, but one is not able to maintain that continuity for long periods of time. That is, there's some continuity of placement of the mind on the object, but not such that it's able to remain there for a long period of time. Then the next one is called how does that get translated? Lente jupa. Lente jupa.
Lente jupa.
Huh? Patchy? Yeah. Lente jupa. I'm not sure about that. It's sort of like replacing the mind on the object. Here, so it says when one is again, jinging yingte, so when one's distracted by losing one's mindfulness, that is, one has forgetfulness of the object, one gets distracted, and such that one is distracted externally from the object. One is distracted to something outside of the object. Then one recognizes that, one becomes aware of that, and then again one attaches one's mind to that place, attaches one's mind to that object. And then the verse here says that having quickly understood that one has become distracted, then one again places one's dela larni lemparcha. Dela
lemparcha. Na ni to sem chiro la kan do me ba sha ba de la yin wa de an ni to ne. Den la yang ngar me ba kha re na ya sem de su me ba de la ma sha ho re la lemparcha.
So then, once one recognizes the distraction has taken place, then one again brings the mind back to the object and places it upon the object.
Oh yeah, that kasore never job at la semnes right job job land job that never job at la. Xi Jinping告诉 sem ji rang xi jia qi wa lai yang yang du ne za sem de rang xi ji jia qi wa mi ba jia qi wa la pa ani ju ba de yang yang du de ani mi ba cha wa cha ne ani ngar ji mi ba de la ma sem jia de ani kong ne kong du zhao ba le xie di luan de kong ne kong du yang sem ne nang du du wa cha za qi ro di sem mi ba jia qi bo le ani yin wa de 差着钱呢，是吧？差了钱呢，俺那空呢空都交把事，俺就没把他个上了，俺那什么交不得了，是吧？哦，落单电报给，俺那空呢空都样，什么难都多差，俺就没把得了，什么都不差吧。
So then the next stage in the 9 mental states that are accomplished in developing shamatha is called close placement. And here it's explained in the instruction on the perfection of wisdom that one naturally takes the mind such that one withdraws it again and again from a sort of expansion with respect to the object of meditation, and makes it finer and finer, subtler, such that having made it subtler, one increases the placement on the object to a higher and higher degree. And then the actual text, the ornament for the sutras says that an intelligent person should absorb the mind or withdraw the mind internally to a higher and higher degree. And so what this is referring to initially in the object has been established in the one's meditation, then it has sort of an expanded sense to it. And in this context of this close placement of the mind on the object, one is kind of drawing in the object so that it's in a finer and finer, subtler sort of form. And then one places the mind on that, and it's such that it causes the mind to become more and more internalized or drawn within.
Oh yeah, 되게 안에 가서래 쌤녀와를 좀 봐대체, 그러와 다 두월 쳐봐 세들이 안에 다 등을 공부하라 안에 연대도 통네. 연대도 삼도 잠바 안에 등에도 텐도냐 와라 가와 안에 tenye 제거 원자 가와 제거 원자 안에 ten에 연대 통외지 안에 등에들라 셈 두로 어떻게 두어쳐봤지.
So then the next phase is called pacification, and here it says that from having seen and having reflected upon the virtue, the good qualities of meditative concentration, one delights in meditative concentration. And then the basic text, the ornament for the sutra says, then because of seeing the good qualities, one's with respect to meditative concentration, one's mind becomes tame.
No. 연대 통역권에 안에 등에서 미발을 줘봐대 두어 쳐봐대 체. 다 10월 쳐봐대 셈남이 안에 가서 남바 인 미발을 봐 인화되라 안에卷도 되네. 안에 셈남바 미발을 인화되라卷도 되네. 안에 등에서 미가와 10월 쳐봐대 등에서 공부하라 안에 미가와 10월 쳐봐대라. 안에 등에서 파도 쳐봐 그 남인데 안에 등에서 공부하라 공부가 녀와 인바 통네. 안에 등에 셈 등에서 미발을 제주도 내와 등에서 내와더라 안에 미가와 10월 차. 아 남인 녀와 통외지 텔라 미가 10월 차.
So then the next stage is called pacification, and here it's from having seen the faults of distraction, one pacifies one's lack of delight in meditative concentration, one's lack of delight in meditative concentration. And so here, seeing the faults of distraction from the meditative object, that being distracted from it, the faults of that, then one, having seen them, then one pacifies the absence of delight in meditative concentration. And then the basic text says that by seeing the faults of distraction, one pacifies lack of delight in that meaning meditative concentration.
Oh yeah. 이거 시와 쳐봐대. 예소 제다. 남바 시와 쳐봐니 아니 차슴 이미대당. 차슴당 뇌자라 써와당. 아니 이미대당. 아니 심 무바. 아니 니라 써와 중앙나 아니 시와 쳐봐대. 차슴 이미대라서 랑바티시 시와 차. 제데 남바 시와 쳐봐대.
차슴 이미
대자당 아니 이미 대비 셈당 와 아니 무바당 셈 이발 별 좀해봐 셈 무바 제삼 무바 싸와 매봐 셈마 두 병가 되라 무바당 아니 니라서 중앙나 아시와 쳐봐대 차선 이미 되라서 람바티시 시와차. 차슴다 이미들라 소바랑 깨기나 안에 도와테와 시와샤바데나.
So then the next one is called thorough pacification, and that it is explained as that whenever this acts to is the pacification of the arising of attachment, a mind which is attached, any kind of discomfort or mental discomfort, sort of fogginess of the mind, sort of like the mind being foggy in the sense of not having clarity with respect to the meditative object, and then sleep, etc. These obstacles, whenever they arise, the rising of those is that this phase of the development of shamatha pacifies those things arising. So then the basic text says that that attachment, etc., and mental discomfort, etc., when they arise, should be pacified in that way.
Oh yeah, that didn't semne dumbate. But yes, Teji do Chapani, Bame do Jubi Chills, and a bezo meba, and Mibala Jubi Chido, Tena Domze Jangini, Salangomba Ducheche, Segara, and Semibala, and a bezo dan Jede, and Semibala Jubatella. Ducheche, and Ducheche, Rangang Gichua top. Tegi, Teji to Chabati.
Simda Langnobodu.
Bame do Jubi Chido, Bame Lindu to Semna Gua de Jubi Chido, Babate, Beso de Cointena, Domze Jandini, Semla Omba, Dujeche, Rangang Gichua tops.
Ranging. Some Langobod Duchesana. Some Langobod Duche.
Kawa. Semla Omba Duchaba, the Beso that Jet Omba Duchaba.
So then the next one is this is seventh, right? Eighth. Oh, so here it's making the mind single-pointed, and here it says that because one's able to engage in this effortlessly. One has made effort in order to engage in this effortlessly, then the ascetic, the ascetic practitioner is through
그렇지 랑강한 거 중앙 톱 대라 때네 아니 미발랑 랑강한 거 중앙 톱 선에 개발될 때네 고가 hinju 주비 아니 등에지 중앙 용안자 뒤순 거래
similar number to Cheba sana
배서다 제디 스미발랑 엄바 두체바다 제디 주배
So the person who's practicing this, the ascetic who is striving to achieve this, together. Together with the effort with respect to their mind, here it's sort of like the activity that is of making effort with respect to the mind here is one obtains this such that it arises automatically out of its own condition or automatically.
Oh yeah, that is a Jabati. Tanyamba Jobani, Semyamba Chuvana, Tanam the Cheba, Gondrum Lesona, Gigi to Cheba Gomba, Gigi to Cheba Combes, Tajamba Shindu, and Semibala, and Gigi to Combati, and Mibala Jet to Joba de Combe, Hindu to Rangang Anga Juba, Bame Hindu Rangang Anga Juji, Rawan Tobala, and Tasemna Gua, and the Sunteji thing said the Semna Gua. To do some Semibala, 뱀 치다 된데도 냠바 줘봐 땡에지 토요와리 다디시네 토요 말이.
다두신이 토용.
네 토요 말이. 어서는.
So then there's it's called equalized placement. So when the mind has become equalized, then and it's been made in a kind of a neutral state. With respect to this, it's as explained in the stages of meditation. 규칙도 제바.
규칙도 제도 공부하는바 신도 아니 규칙도 공부하라. 규칙도 그만. 공부 아니 뱀면선들이 줘봐.
규칙도 제바. So by meditating such that it becomes a single continuity, such that the meditation has been made into a single continuity, then it becomes spontaneous, such that it operates spontaneously out of its own natural state, and one has obtained mastery over this, and that's as it's explained in the instruction on the perfection of wisdom.
Oh yeah, 대고 말라 또 메시 다 된데기 신한 주역이 맨 도디잖아 숨바기 다 미바도 시장주체 다 미바데 정도 잠바 샘귀 문도 대단에 고른 탐볼래 신내기 람디니 셔러지 바로 심발라 소와샤데 시소 참바다로 세다 셔러지 바로 심바신 이 고른 탐볼래 숨바谢谢的唱大现在古天了 다시 톱축이 예주 세도와 톱축이 주루 세도와 톱축이 주루 대라 이제시 예루 스체니 예와 인자다 톱축이 근데 주버래 sana 톱텔라 아니 퇴와 퇴위톱 삼배톱 참배톱 시신이톱 진지지톱 용수 퇴위톱 톱축이마
So this, although one has accomplished the 9 stages there, still it's like in the Tsongkhapa Topsona, the Shini Drumasong. Shini Drupsong.
Shin Drumasota.
Masong.
That Drumano, that and the thing is to Chinan Drubi, ya thing is the Yemi Drubia, good thing is Yemi to Sarawa. That tell a top true you are. Chinet does in top. So when it has accomplished these 9 states of mind, 9 mental states, but still one has not accomplished shamatha as such. It's still shamatha, this mental stabilization, is still to be obtained. And so these names that are given, designated upon these 9 mental states, are given from the first of the stages of meditation, and then this path of the, or as it says in the stages of meditation, this path of shamatha is explained in the perfection of wisdom, etc. And so as it's explained in the first stages of meditation text, as it's cited there, it's to be taken in that way. Then there's, in terms of the way in which this is accomplished, or shamatha is accomplished by means of the 6 powers. This is explained here in terms of identification of what the 6 powers are. And so the 6 powers are hearing, reflection, recollection, vigilance, effort, and thorough habituation. These 6 powers. 다 간들에서나 또 죽은안에 당보 퇴외 또기 선내 당보 미발라 줘봐대 퇴외 또그 줘봐 이 간들에서나 미발 당보 샘 줘봐대 아니 퇴외 또지 주자 가래서 아니 샘 미발라 제지도 최당 미발라 줘당데 아니 가서래 신예래 퇴와 아니 랑기 아니 가서래 텐드기 안다가서 미발라 줘당 아니 가수 덴바기 덴제 대달라 퇴산 차와 퇴와 차와 오 텐데라 때네 미발라 조단데 아니 시고와 인자 대라 퇴고와 인자 아니 퇴와기 다티 가서래 돕지 줘야 돼 당분이 퇴중고 돕지 미발라 셈 미발라 제주도 조장데 아니 퇴위 돕지 조비 셈 줍대 당분 퇴위 돕지 조비 셈 조바세 셈네 당분에 조비 셈디 줍대 셈 미발라 조비 당마 미발라 조수 미단 당 아니 미발라 셈 조비 추대 아니 당화 闲了 퇴화 잠시结束 장네 아니 闲了 퇴화 잠시 아니 랑게 셈 당보 미발라 셈 다바 잠인지 다바 잠인지 랑게 양양 삼네 콤바 많이 빌내갑텔라 아니 줘봐 세죠 그래 줘봐
So then the first of these powers is described, or the way in which one achieves this kind of what kind of mind one achieves by means of which of those powers. The first of these is the power of hearing. Is what enables one to achieve the mental state of placement, the first of the 9 states. So this occurs from simply following the mere instruction that one has heard from another on how to place the mind on the object that one has selected, and so. Since one is simply following the instructions there, at the beginning, one is merely attaching the mind to the object, but So here at the beginning, one is merely attaching one's mind to the object based upon having heard how to do this, the instruction that someone else has given you on how to do this. But it's not the case that one is able to place the mind on the object from having been conditioned to that, from having thought about it over and over again.
Then sambe dobji semne niwa gyundu joba jobe de la da tajin tue dobki gaso ane sinye la miba josu shida tewa dar ane rangi sambe dobji ngarji miba de la ane gyun tudu jobi ane gyundu job gyun tudu joba ki ane sem juba yinzang sambe dobji semne niwa de jub gyundu jobi sem de jub.
So then the second, constant, continual placement of the mind, the second phase of the 9 states, occurs by the force of reflection. So here one not only is not merely the result of hearing the instructions of your virtuous friend and then doing it based on the instruction, but oneself has thought about this repeatedly over and over again, and based upon one's understanding of this as it's gained from reflection upon the instructions that one's received, then one's able to place the mind on the object in a continuous fashion.
That's right. Concept. The Tambo Mibala Tawati, Unijobi Semjo, and the Sabi Dobji, Mibala, Nader, and the Jobi Gaujis, and some Mibala Tawati, Gu Yang, Samne, Jambala, and the Gu Junset Tuba. Toma and the same because young and a junto job at the Sambet of Jituba.
So then, here there's some continuity that occurs even in the first state, placing the mind on the object. But in the first state, there's that continuity which one has achieved for brief continuity of fixing the mind on the object. In this first phase, is by thinking about that again and again, by reflecting upon the continuity of that again and again, one maintains one's attention to the object, and by doing that, when the continuity of that is slightly extended, one is able to extend the continuity of that somewhat, then one has initially obtained when one has initially obtained the samne kyamble gyunchunse tunuba.
gyunchunse tunuba si ngama ki gyunchunse tunuba. Jobale ani gyunchunse tunuba yong inza tam thoma togu ares gyunchunse tunuba.
So this second phase then, the continued placement occurs through the power of reflection, repeated thinking about this, and so one obtains that initially when one's able to extend the continuity of the placement of the mind on the object extend the continuity of that for a bit.
Oh yeah, that's a bad doggy. And it came to job is same to watch it. That is la, and the castle, land the job down. Never a job like 7 year day, and it tembeto to guard it. Teveto, Sambeto, top sumba tembeto. Tembeto land the job at never job is 7 year day. That's some Mubala taking the damn it over some mirror of Chirola Ingerawa. Mibala Inbana, and a Nargi, Mibati, Tamba take on the, and some Chirola Imbatella, true, and a Tambaki, and a shook jetty, cause a Tambaki Mibala Nando Dubati. Then the Jubati, Tambatopji Dubati chat. Never Jobati, Tambone, Chirola Mayimba, Tambone, and a sim Tambaki shook jetty. 아니 세명아르지 미발라 따와텔라 이와 메셰바데 미셰바 인장 렌드 조바다 녀와 조바 니오데 쳔베도 지루가.
So then the next two phases occur through the power of recollection here, or mindfulness, one could say, the recollection, the force of recollection. So the repeated placement of the mind and the close close placement of the mind, those two are achieved through that, the power of mindfulness or recollection. And when the mind is distracted, such that it's distracted away from the object, then having recalled recalled the object, the former object that one has in mind, and one is able to retract the mind back to the object from having recalled the object, and so that is what is referred to as replacement. Replacement of the mind on the object, and then
치료를 인화돼 남 치료를 인화돼 아니 시신기 인화돼 시에네 ngārji mīkpa te chāmbē ki sūne, mīkpa te la samlēpa te la chāmbē tōpji rūwa chik chē, lēndi chōpa te chē.
So the second one is through, you have vigilance in place such that one recognizes when the mind has wandered away from the object, one's meditative object. And when vigilance recognizes that that the mind has been distracted and has wandered, has been distracted from the object, then recollection brings back the object, such that one recalls the object that one had previously been focused on, and brings that back, and so that the mind is brought back, internalized back on the object, and then that is called this replacement of the mind on the object.
Right. That humble you give a chance on. You are job.
Near job.
Near job. But the humble, some my in Bachi, Temberg shook in. 아니 선 이바 담보네 선 미발에 이와 미셔바 템베 숙제바데 냐와 줘박 템베도
Then the next one, the close placement of the mind on the object. This second of the two that we're discussing here that occurred through the power of recollection. In that, one doesn't allow one's mind to be distracted from the object due to the force of recollection which is generated in that previous, the former phase. So in the former state, one is using recollection to withdraw the mind, mind from being distracted back to the object. But the power of doing that can cause one to be distracted from the meditative object. And so in this next phase, one doesn't allow the force of that recollection, force generated by the recollection, to distract the mind from the object.
투와 쳐봐다 시월에 쳐봐게 아니 세미니오데 아니 시신 그 dob지 세미니오 주바인 말 나티니 디네가라 아니 남도당 아니 큰전당 차도다 산나라 소바게 아니 니mon게 참아 대다라 참아라 아니 초위 님이 셈 초바게 님이데 봐 아르가 시신 그 받잖아 셈미바라 니mon게사 그 유라 아니 초와대기 니와데 시신그르 받체네 그봐 시신그르네 안데 달라 니미수 때네 언데 아니 니에게 미바 대다라 니모게 이바 대다라 숨 초르미 대와 쳐바데 그봐 숨 초르미 대와 쳐바 인장 되기 아니 된다 되기 시신그 또지 두와 쳐와다 시월 쳐와니 오데 다 뒤주부체
So then the power of vigilance is that which enables one to accomplish these two next mental states. The state which is called being tamed, the middle state which is taming of the mind, and then the middle state which is called pacification of the mind. In those two states, vigilance is that which vigilance enables one to recognize, to be aware that of the negative consequences of interest in the images of that are produced by thought and the subsidiary mental afflictions, such as jealousy or sort of covetousness, these subsidiary mental afflictions, the images that are produced by conceptuality and the other conceptuality and the subsidiary mental afflictions. Those images, the mind is attracted to them. But vigilance then enables one to recognize, to be aware of the negative consequences of being attracted to them, and having viewed them as being faulty, those images as being faulty, then one doesn't allow the mind doesn't let the mind to be attracted to them, to be interested in them.
Oh yeah, that ni top zunji top ji ane semne namba shiwa chawa tumba de jaba ni wo jimbare namba shiwa chawa de zeju chaba ni ane kasore namdo nyenye chuma nam 아니 년이 참모지 중요한 아니 진짜 그 똑제대 뽕에 탄도 매래봐 탄도 매래신 대달 제발라 때네 아니 친구라서 왜 등에 지니라 파도 저 미니바 등에 지나 아니 친구랑 생활도 가발라서 왜 등에 지나 아니 파도 저 미니바 등에 지 괜찮아서 집이 등에 지 주바 인장 아니 진짜 그 똑지 아니 셈네 남바 시와 저발 쯔지 쳐봐도 주고아래
Then the power of effort is that which enables one to accomplish the two mental states of thorough pacification and single-pointedness, those two. So here, the effort is that which 남도다 년년 중화
당도 매련식作为帮外당도 매련식 남도 년년 전준주그 받도지帮外당도 매련식
So then through the effort or the skill that one has through effort, one is able to get rid of even the subtler rising of conceptuality and these subsidiary mental afflictions. And one, by being able to get rid of them through this skill that one has through the effort, then one doesn't take them up. One doesn't take up the conceptual, the ideas and the subsidiary mental afflictions that appear, even the subtle forms of them that arise. And by doing that, then sinking and distraction, sinking and scattering of the mind are not able to interrupt one's meditative concentration, and then one is, and by them not being able to interrupt it, then one achieves. Then one is able to accomplish a meditative concentration, which arises continuously.
Oh yeah, that chuba drivi to sege. Ane yagis that semnanga namji kasu mibatela. Semibala yamba jobade ane drivi topji komba chiba drivi topji ane nyamba jobi semne guwa nyamba jobi sem tukire ngama naula komba chibi topji ane da miba kondo miba karer shayo na yang miba dela ane beme hindu de jubage ane dinge zine kiyaedi semne guwa drivi topji juba miba la drivi topji juba miba koma na
So then the sixth is the power of habituation, of being accustomed and habituated to these development of these previous mental states. So that is, throughout the course of the entire process of developing these, one has developed the different stages, and through the process of habituation to this, through just by being habituated to this process, accustomed to it, then one's able to accomplish the mental state of a sort of an equal placement of the mind, the mind being placed in a kind of state of equanimity, so then it says that by the force of being greatly conditioned to the previous mental states, then one gives rise to the meditative concentration, which is able to engage the object effortlessly and naturally. Here, so here, effortlessly means spontaneously, without any kind of requiring any kind of effort.
Oh yeah, that's something good to me. Tedane nyesi gomba chita washi yimbe tele shendu chebala yide mishawo sungata tomegi ani kasore chambe gomba yuji chambe gomba chita wa shindu ani nyendo kisala shebate ani chita wa shindu yimbe ani tele shendu chebala yide misha sung.
So this explanation is the intention of the Shravaka Bhumi. Here, the text which presents the Shravaka level of practice. And here, this is Arya Sangha has presented the exact thought of Arya Maitreya within this text. And so that since the way it's been presented here is exactly as it is the thought of the Shravaka Bhumi, then one should not have any trust in someone who explains this in some other way, in a way that one should not place trust in any explanation of this which departs from this explanation in the Shravaka Bhumi.
Oh yeah, that the same now go. Take top true, tell top true yellow. That you just you let you come to Chimache. That he jela, that same now go at the jela, and it's in the tongue. That didn't
So we explained then like the four kinds of attention and the six powers by which one achieves the 9 states, and the way those work to produce the 9 states. And then after one has achieved this 9th state, then one develops shamatha, the stable meditative abiding. And so we'll leave that for now.
Oh yeah, Daki Chine Save Gava de Denan Drova Kunlakan. Jabba Jizun Losan Drabaye Demben Bodendo Saji Sho. She Beji Shujem Medoja, Rirale Shen Ni Sanje Shindo Mide Boye, Drogan Namda Shen Lodge. Guru Rana Mendra Lakane Yatayami.